what I want to share with you right now is this by George Bellows. It is one of our newest acquisitions. It's called The Fisherman from 1917. You all can come a little bit closer. Now, George Bellows. How do we know George Bellows? When you hear the name George Bellows, what do we associate with the kind of art that he produced? Boxing. Boxing is what you know, the stag at Sharkey's. That's, very bravura kind of painting. He was from Ohio, a landlocked place. He was an athlete. He, in fact, supported himself and bought canvases by being on a semi-pro baseball team. I mean, he could have chosen many different paths, but art is what he wanted to do. He loved hunting and fishing. And here we see him, not for what most of us consider, oh, that's George Bellows, but our newest acquisition of the Pacific Coast. In 1917, George Bellows is living in New York, just around the corner from Gramercy Park. And he's famous by this time. So he has been commissioned to do a portrait out in California. Well, at that time, can you fly out there? Did we have the interstate highways? No. So how did he get there? He got there by train. Okay, so he gets there by train, gets off in Los Angeles. Now how am I going to get down to Monterey? He bought a car and taught himself to drive on the dirt roads going down to Monterey. I mean, it was such an event for him, he named the car. Okay, so he taught himself to drive, to go down. So he arrives, and his first experience with the ocean was 4 years earlier in Monhegan Island, Maine, and he fell in love with the ocean. So here he is in California after having taught himself to drive, and he's at Point Lobos. If any of you have been down to Monterey, Carmel, then you might recognize possibly the seascape, which is very different from where he was painting in Monhegan. Look at the bravura kind of brushstrokes he's using. Still very vigorous, manly activity. And here you see, is this a portrait of the fisherman? Do we care about what he looks like? And it's what George was fascinated by in the sea was this constant conflict, and we are experiencing it ourselves, aren't we? With hurricanes, floods, fires, that we cannot control nature, and that's one thing that he saw in the sea.